Great.
And I'm here to give the presentation on paper cut safety in the workplace. I'm pretty sure that you must have had a paper cut one time or the other, because paper cuts are quite common. And we'll move right in. So first, some housekeeping rules. The toilets, there's 2 toilets in the building. There's one downstairs and one upstairs, just in case you need to use that. And there's also an exit downstairs, just in case of a fire. And I'll appreciate if we can please keep our mobile phones on silent for now. All right. So just a little framework of the presentation. There's going to be an introduction, and I'll go into how paper cuts actually happen and why they hurt so much, the prevention, treatment, and conclusion. So introduction. So according to statistics, 98.6% of people are actually vulnerable to a paper cut. The remaining 1.4%, I don't know if it's the toughness of their skin or something, for some reason, they've never had a paper cut in their life. This was actually a statistic that was done, and they found out that 98.6% of people have actually had a paper cut before. So that's telling us that a lot of people actually do have paper cuts. So it's a fairly common thing. So we dive right into how paper cuts happen. So if you're actually looking at a piece of a paper, it looks like it's actually very smooth. Like even the one that you have, it looks like it's very smooth. But then when the edge of the paper is looked at under the microscope, it appears like that. So it's actually a jagged edge thing. So it is quite sharp. And there's basically 2 layers of the skin. So the outer layer that we can see is called the epidermis, and the inner layer is called the dermis. And the thing with the paper cut is it doesn't go deep enough to bleed, which means so usually when we have paper cuts, most of the time, it doesn't bleed out because the cut doesn't actually go deep enough. It just cuts basically the epidermis, which is this part of the skin. And because of that, it takes a while to heal. Because of that, just the cut doesn't go deep enough to actually activate the body's natural defense mechanism. So, moving on, why they hurt so much? Just like I said, the cut, most of the time when we have a paper cut, is actually quite painful. You wonder why such a tiny cut would be that painful. So basically, our fingers are loaded with sensitive nerves, which are called nociceptors, and these are the nociceptors, as you can see. So these nerves actually send signals into the brain, and that is why once we get a paper cut, it triggers and we feel it like almost immediately, even though it's just a very tiny cut. And also because the edge of the paper is not smooth, it's very jagged like this. So the cut is usually messier and more painful. And also, what is the paper made of? Wood, chemicals, and all of that. And these things can actually stick to the surface of the skin and make it even more painful, and sometimes even lead to an infection, which can irritate the cut or cause discomfort. And yeah, so paper cuts also happen on other parts of the body. So the finger is the most common, but it also happens on other parts of the body. I personally have had paper cuts when I try to seal an envelope and try to use my tongue and then get a little cut on there. So sometimes it actually does happen like that on other areas of the body. And these are areas that I use often, and they're very sensitive areas. So our tongue, if you check the beginning, I actually showed examples of paper cuts. So on the tongue, on the lips, on the fingers. So these are actually parts of the body that we use quite often, and because of that, when we do get a paper cut, we're reminded all the time, basically. Just go back. Okay, so prevention. So I just thought this might be something that would be interesting because a lot of people, there's been a lot of debate about, oh, how can paper cuts actually be prevented? Can we actually stop that from happening? And people have come up with a lot of ideas on how paper cuts can be prevented. And I just saw this and I thought it would be quite interesting. So it says this person was actually trying to prevent a paper cut and came up with this idea to actually be all kitted for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, so do you think there might actually be some preventive measures that you think we could take for paper cuts? All right, let's see if we'll be able to find some. All right, so before we go into that, so from my research, I actually did find out that a lot of people have been saying, oh, if you maybe moisturize your hand a bit, that it will reduce the tendency of having a paper cut. That's obviously on the finger, but on the lips you can use lip gloss as well. So I thought we might maybe show a practical one in class. So I brought a book and lotion, and also obviously the more you handle, if you handle the paper in a very rough way, obviously you'll be more susceptible to a paper cut as well. So let's try easy handling and applying the lotion and see if it works. So I'll show you how it's done, and then you can also maybe practicalize it and we'll see if that works. So I'll apply the lotion. And so basically the way it works is that you open the book. So usually, I mean, we all read books, so I'm going to use a book. And as you can see, the edge looks very smooth, but it's actually very jagged. So we'll open the book, and instead of actually just, flipping it and doing this, which would make you more susceptible to having a paper cut, you gently open the book. So if, for example, you're reading the page, you can just, instead of placing your fingers at the edge, you can just place your palm on there, because obviously the palm would be less resistant to that. So you can place your palm on there, and then if you're wanting to flip the page, for example, gently, without being too quick, you can just gently flip the page instead of just do you want to try that? So first you just apply the lotion. Exactly, and then place your palm. Yeah. See, now you know the art of not getting the paper cut, hopefully. All right, so there are also other preventive measures that have been suggested. A green tape that can be wrapped around the finger. Finger cuts, I was trying to actually get some finger cuts, but I couldn't get some. But they look like this, and you basically just wear them on your fingers. And they're supposed to make working with papers easier and better, and you're protected against having a paper cut, basically. And also file fingers. So these, from the pictures, you see there's wearing things to prevent the fingers. Some people say gloves as well, but I'm not really sure how that would work. We could actually practicalize using a glove. I think there's some gloves around. Oh, maybe later. Okay. So how to treat a paper cut? So first you rinse the cut with cool, plain water to remove any dirt or debris. So like I said, the paper has wood, chemicals, and all of those things on there. So you might want to clean it off to make sure that there is no infection. Then you scrub gently, the wound gently with mild soap and water, just to make sure it's further clean. And then you rinse the wound under clean water, cool clean water, until all the soap has been rinsed away. And basically, it says to avoid this kind of products. So basically, like alcohol, iodine, hydrogen peroxide, because this can actually damage healthy cells. So we have to avoid this kind of products. And instead of that, we should use like an antibiotic cream. So basically, that would prevent any kind of infection that could potentially want to be on there. And after that, to make sure that there is no further infection, because obviously if it's left out in the open and exposed, there's still chance of it being infected. So you apply the bandage to your affected area and remove the bandage once the cut begins to heal, or so basically once you notice that the cut is starting to heal, it's less painful and all of that, then you can remove the bandage so that there can be air on there. And then natural treatment methods. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't believe in using antibiotic cream or believe it's adding more chemicals, there are natural ways as well that you can actually treat paper cuts. So you can use honey. Honey is really good. It has a lot of materials in there that can actually help the cuts heal better. Aloe vera as well. White wine and garlic has been proven as well to have really good healing properties. And then tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is really good as well for healing cuts and helping things to heal faster. And then conclusion. So paper cuts remind us that no matter how many times we perform the task, we're capable of accidentally hurting ourselves. If that makes us a little more sympathetic to our neighbor's pains and a little more humble, then maybe paper cuts do us some good. So I just feel it's a reminder to show, from the statistics that we had, 98.6% of people actually have paper cuts. So that's a whole lot of people, if you ask me. And it just shows that it's something that less people are susceptible to that. Not susceptible to that, basically. So that is the end of my presentation today. Did you have any questions or?
No.
All right then. Thank you.